All right, hello everybody. My name is Jalen Mason. Today I'll be talking about the three things that resonated with me during my first semester at CAU. The very first thing that resonated with me during this first semester was definitely money management. As we're going through this pandemic, I did have to learn that I had to start building habits to start saving and start working towards my next semester at CAU, which most likely now is going to be on campus. So I'm a working actor, and so I do get my own work and my own regards, and I have to go out and get my jobs, and I work for commission. And so working hard and getting this money, I had to figure out how I was going to save it and how I was going to use it to, better myself and invest in myself. So to invest in myself, I did get a microphone, like a studio setup to help me with getting more jobs and, investing in my future rather than, getting shoes or clothes like I would normally do if I had the money like I did during this time. So it taught me that rather than leisurely spending in the time that we're in now when that money is very vital to my livelihood, I had to figure out a way to invest and to better off my career going forward. And it has brought me more jobs, which brought me more money. And so I'm learning how to invest in myself and make sure the money that I'm spending, I'm going to get back in some way, shape, or form. Continuing on the path of me being an actor and me having to save my money, I also had to create a resume for this to start getting more jobs. And that's another thing that I learned this semester. I knew I was going to have to build one and create one anyway, but having the outline and looking up different examples and things, I was able to create a very lucrative and a very appealing resume for these casting directors and whatnot to see. This is very important in the career I work at because experience is everything. No matter how good you are, how good of an actor you are, these casting directors and these people that I talk to and I interact with, they want somebody with experience. And if you don't have experience, it's likely that you'll be stuck at the bottom of the barrel trying to get smaller projects until you can build it up. And so as I'm getting these jobs during this summer and doing this, this year pretty much, I had to learn that I had to start somewhere. And so while I'm getting these jobs, I have to keep in mind that sometimes it's not the money that I want or, even money at all. And so I have to keep in mind that these are projects that I'm building for a resume and not necessarily, to make the best projects. Of course, I want to make good projects all the time, but sometimes you have to sacrifice certain things to get yourself up there. And so I'm steadily climbing, doing these smaller projects and adding to my resume like I have. But the resume that I did build and the resume that I saw and built from the topic that we had, I believe that will help me get more and more jobs and more work. Third, final topic that I've learned that helped me go through is dealing with stress, coping with my stress. This time was very hard, not only because we were online during the pandemic, but the fact that the assignments didn't slow down. It didn't stop, didn't slow down, and it wasn't catered to the students, I don't believe. And so a lot of stress piled up, in addition to having to work and having to make sure I'm making a livelihood for myself and making a living. I had to worry about school on top of that. And not school where I'm able to interact with people and able to interact with teachers and friends and things of that nature on campus. But I had to do it at home by myself on a computer all day, every day, except for 2 days off on the weekend. It was very stressful. And sometimes even the weekends I had to work. And so being able to find different ways to cope with my stress, some of the things that I did, I made sure on the weekends, if I didn't have any work or anything, I made sure I took to myself and did the things that made me happy. I made sure that I, tried to interact with my family that lives with me as much as possible, because I couldn't hang out with friends outside because either they were at school or it wasn't safe to hang out in crowd and in groups or whatever. And so I did end up getting closer to my family, and I found out things about myself that I liked. Just like finding different movies and things that I like, playing video games, things that just took me off of the situations that we have at hand now. It really helped me, and it really made me learn more about myself and made me happier by doing so. And so those are the 3 topics that I've learned this year: money management, learning how to build a resume, and coping with my stress. These 3 things really helped me go through, and hopefully it'll show in my transcript and in the work that I put in during my acting. Hopefully it'll come for the better, and not the worse. So to wrap it up, the 3 things that I've learned from my time in my first semester at CAU is that I learned money management, I learned how to build a resume, and I learned how to cope with stress during these times. That's it. Thank you guys for listening.